7 teams, 7 camps, on the road to opening day. With roster analysis, key game matchups, player profiles, and the push towards a football title. This is West Coast Training Camp.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Training Camp. I'm Andrew Martin. It's football season, and over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you ready for it. There are a lot of storylines across the league this year. Here are a few of them, in no particular order. Rule changes involving helmets and catches, among other things. 5 quarterbacks were drafted in the first round this year. Which of them will play and when? Tom Brady, not a rookie. He's 41 now. Will he still be great? The Cleveland Browns were the opposite of great last season. How will they do this season? And there are always coaching changes, but the Raiders convincing John Gruden to leave the broadcast booth is certainly unique. Mark Carpenter has insight in Napa, California.
Here at Raiders training camp in Napa, John Gruden rolling on with his second stint as the head of the Silver and Black. And although he's been away from the sidelines for roughly a decade, he's wasted no time teaching the full Gruden experience.
Look, we're not running a 1964 operation here, but there are some things that happened in 1964 that were pretty damn good. And if you don't think so, go ahead and have a nice day.
And as he returns to coaching, Gruden drawing inspiration from the past to help make the Silver and Black a serious force in the league once again. And to help bolster the lessons from decades-old film, Chucky is bringing the fire on the field.
He's loud, he's talking noise, he's talking trash. He's a guy that he wants to win. You can see his passion.
He loves football. He wants to win. He loves his players, he loves his coaches, and he demands from you.
And you can be sure Gruden is demanding a ton from his quarterback, Carr, trying to rebound from a 6-10 campaign drastically different from his MVP-type season in 2016. The 27-year-old has not only built chemistry with new faces like Jordy Nelson and Martavis Bryant, but has also picked up the offense of his 4th head coach in 5 years.
Coach Gruden tells me, hey, this was an area that you need to throw better. I'm throwing 1,000 of them, you know. Try and master those. One thing I learned about Peyton Manning, you know, he's really not into going out and throwing 300 different routes. I'm going to throw 2 routes if I have to, but I'm going to throw it 300 times.
I've worked with a lot of really great quarterbacks in the past, but this man is as into football as any guy I've met, and he is talented, man, and smart.
As for the defense, new coordinator Paul Gunther has a big job in front of him, repairing a unit that ranked in the bottom half of the league in total defense and dead last in turnovers.
Our defensive coordinator is really good, creates a lot of problems, and Bruce Irvin's playing his natural position on an every down basis. I think he's a heck of a player. We've improved our inside pass rush. We've added a veteran presence.
The Raiders open the regular season Monday night, September 10th against the Rams. In Napa, Mark Carpenter reporting.
Thanks, Mark. Aside from the season opener, other key games on the Raiders' schedule include an October game against the Seahawks in London and a November game against Bay Area rival San Francisco. As we know, in a couple of years, the Raiders won't be in the Bay Area anymore. Chris Matthews updates us on their new home in Las Vegas.
Well, work continues on the $2 billion project, and they say they're on schedule for this opening of summer of 2020. One thing that's kind of unique, this is now called Connector Way, the street right behind me, but it will soon be called Al Davis Way.
Just win, baby.
Al Davis loved Las Vegas, and according to his son Mark, would be very proud of this $1.9 billion facility, a facility that is coming along nicely.
So we're about 50% through with the concrete. Right now what we're looking at an elevator core. We're on the north end. What you see right there is the mezzanine deck. Third crane in is approximately where the torch is going to be.
That torch, in honor of the late Al Davis, will sit on the north end of the stadium. Right now, there are 12 cranes hoisting heavy pieces of steel. 3 of the biggest cranes haven't arrived yet, but soon.
Probably by the end of September, you're going to see a nice frame of the stadium. The stadium's going to be probably about 140 feet in the air.
And that's about 20 stories high. It'll soon be a beehive of activity with 1,200 workers on site.
A year from now, you'll be looking at a stadium.
Then work will begin on the inside. Seats, suites, and signage, all the amenities. Raiders will share this facility with UNLV. It'll be a game changer for the college program, and the devil is in the details.
They've been wonderful partners with us, and it's fun because the differences between the NFL and college, right? They have 53 people in a roster, and we've got like 105 young men, and so so like the sizes of the lockers and the sizes of the locker room, and so they've been wonderful to work with.
Whether pro or college, the Sports Mansion will be one of a kind.
We're looking forward to opening day. I mean, it's going to be a stadium for Las Vegas.
Complete with a window to the iconic skyline. Reporting from the stadium site in Las Vegas, I'm Chris Matthews.
Thanks, Chris. We are just getting started here on West Coast Training Camp. Up next, it's back to the X's and O's. The Raiders have some competition in the AFC West. We'll talk about that next.
This is West Coast Training Camp.
Welcome back to West Coast Training Camp. The Chiefs won the AFC West last season. They finished one game ahead of the Chargers, who missed the playoffs for the fourth year in a row. LA began the year 0-4. As Nick James tells us, the Chargers would really like to avoid doing that this year.
Welcome to LA Chargers camp for the second straight season here in Costa Mesa, California. The Chargers are hoping to have a fast start in September, and typically they have slow starts. They're trying to change that going into the new season.
For me, it was looking around, seeing guys like Joey and Melvin. These guys aren't 290, and I'm like, why am I 290 if I'm playing behind them? So that was kind of the transition that I had to make mentally.
Chargers have some depth at D-line to join Corey Liuget, Melvin Ingram, and Joey Bosa, but how potent can the Bolts offense be?
Tyrell's turning into a complete, full receiver. You look at Mike's size and what he brings. Keenan, obviously, with his route running and just all overall.
We just want to be rolling and keep moving in the right direction. And I think, once we hit the ground rolling, we're going to be pretty effective. We just trying to come out hot, man. That's all we can ask for.
And if Keenan Allen can stay healthy like he did last year, sky's the limit.
Yeah, we got a lot of threats, a lot of guys that can get the ball and make plays. So, if we do it right and, play very unselfish, we should be solid.
Reporting from Chargers camp, I'm Nick James.
Thanks, Nick. The Chargers open the season with a divisional game. They host the Chiefs on September 9th. In October, they'll head to London to play the Titans, and they visit the Broncos the last week of the regular season. It's been 5 years since they've won a game in Denver. Van Tate now on what we can expect from that team this season.
As a member of the Minnesota Vikings last season, Keenum led the team to within one game of the Super Bowl. As a member of the Denver Broncos, he's in training camp as a starter for the first time.
He's an NFL starter. I mean, he can place the ball, where it has to be, and that's the key to playing an NFL quarterback.
Case Keenum was told by one coach in the past that he would never be more than a third-string quarterback in the NFL. That coach has been proven wrong.
It's new. I mean, I've taken everything from my past, and I'm applying it now. I think everything that I've been through, all the adversity, it's made me into who I am.
The question of who will back up Keenan has apparently been answered. Chad Kelly, who sat out last season healing his body from injuries suffered in college, has moved ahead of 2017 first-round draft pick Paxton Lynch.
I'm focused on myself, try to get better, and that's just leading my team down the field every single day.
The Broncos upgraded their offensive line and also helped themselves at various positions through the draft. Taking outside linebacker Bradley Chubb out of North Carolina State could prove to be very beneficial. Chubb is learning from one of the best in Von Miller.
Pretty much everybody in the outside linebacker room, Von, Shaq, Shane, all those guys who've been there, done that, and I'm just trying to get as much knowledge from them, from all of them as much as I can.
The Broncos are hoping that Chubb can develop into the run stopper that he was in college. So far, third-round pick Royce Freeman out of Oregon is making a case to be the top running back in camp. The Broncos released top rusher C.J. Anderson during the offseason. Veteran Devontae Booker is getting stiff competition from the rookie.
Come out and compete and try to perfect our assignments day in and day out, so I think that's what I have to focus on.
To help in the battle for field position, the Broncos acquired a punter with a knack for putting the ball inside the 20-yard line. Marquette King, formerly of the Oakland Raiders, is entering his 7th season. He also comes with a colorful personality. What about punting and stuff like that? So you don't want to talk about any of that? Or
I don't really want to talk about it.
Because, you're talented, man.
I know, but...
All right, how about this, Fortnite?
Heck yeah.
The Broncos start the regular season at home against the Seattle Seahawks September 9th. Reporting from Broncos training camp, I'm Van Tate.
Thanks, Van. In addition to the season opener, the Broncos will be circling a couple of games in October. On the 1st, they'll try to end a 5-game losing streak against the Chiefs. Less than 2 weeks later, on the 14th, Aqib Talib and Wade Phillips return to Denver with the Rams. Both men helped the Broncos win Super Bowl 50. Up next on West Coast Training Camp, it's time to talk NFC. The 49ers were a last-place team a year ago, but they ended strong with Jimmy Garoppolo. Will that continue? A preview next. Welcome back. Jimmy Garoppolo is undefeated as a starting quarterback in the NFL. 2-0 with the Patriots, 5-0 with the 49ers. San Francisco was so impressed with Garoppolo at the end of last season, he was given a new 5-year contract worth, get this, more than $137 million. That's a lot of money. And with that comes a lot of pressure. Here's Kim Smith.
Here in Santa Clara, the 49ers are just trying to block out all of the noise. Plenty of buzz around Jimmy Garoppolo, the turnaround last season, and Kyle Shanahan heading into his second year with the team. Now, that could be a recipe for success, but the 49ers know they have a lot to prove. It's hard to silence the conversations about the 49ers star quarterback. Jimmy G's name in the headlines recently, from his dating life to his relationship with his former team. The low-key quarterback is quickly introduced to the limelight.
I've never really been big on, being very public with things, even social media. I'm not out there a ton, but, my life's looked at differently. I'm under a microscope, and it's like Kyle said, it is a good learning experience.
But he's learning even more in his first training camp with the 49ers. It's clear the 49ers' goal was to build around their prized quarterback, from signing free agent Jerick McKinnon to drafting offensive lineman Mike McGlinchey in the first round.
It's all that coming together, guys staying focused on OTAs and now training camp. I mean, it's an exciting time of year.
Defensively, the Niners are young but improved. Richard Sherman was the big offseason acquisition, but whether or not he'll be the same terrifying cornerback is still the big question, as he's working his way back to 100% from an Achilles injury and then a recent hamstring strain during practice.
The outside world, has their, just make headlines, one way or the other. He's not going to be ready for these reasons. He's going to be ready for these reasons, but I never had any doubt.
Ready or not, even when Sherman is on the sidelines, he's been another coach, dissecting plays and mentoring the young defensive backs. The reason he's earned his name, Uncle Sherm.
Just to have that opportunity to learn from him and pick his brain, that's all I craved. In terms of playing across from him, I just wanted it so that I could understand what he knows.
It's the foundation of a young team working to establish an identity and preparing to compete in the wild, wild NFC West. Reporting from 49ers training camp, I'm Kim Smith.
Thanks, Kim. The 49ers open the season in Minnesota on September 9th. Their first chance against the Rams, last year's NFC West champs, is October 21st. Just how good will the Rams be in 2018? Here's Nick James.
Welcome to UC Irvine Rams Camp 2018. Rams in 2016, last place in the NFC West. 2017, brand new ball of wax, first place. They went from worst to first. We caught up with Coach McVay and some of the players heading into the 2018 campaign.
I think the proof is in the pudding. We've got a lot of work to do, as I said before, in camp, and then obviously when we get out to week one is going to be our true test when we got the real bullets flying.
Speaking of bullets, newly acquired wide receiver Brandon Cooks can move at a high rate of speed. I asked him about coming over from the New England Patriots.
Come over here, Coach McVay is young, a lot of injury, he's running around. Bill's not going to be running around too much with us, but that's because he's been in the game so long. But at the end of the day, two great coaches got their own styles, a ton of respect for both of them.
Head coach Sean McVay not too concerned about the new rule changes regarding tackling.
The thing that they'll be interested to see is, how it's officiated from the standpoint of some of those bang-bang plays where a player is trying to keep his head out of the tackle, and that target point changes based on some of those split-second decisions. So we've just got to do a good job adjusting, and ultimately it's all geared towards player safety, and that's what we're all about.
Reporting from Rams Camp, I'm Nick James.
Nick pulling double duty for us in this show. The Rams open the season in Oakland on September 10th. They have a game in Mexico City on November 19th. And in December, they host the Super Bowl champion Eagles. That's in Week 15. Weeks 13, 14, and 16, LA is on the road. We're only halfway through the NFC West. Still to come on West Coast Training Camp, the other half, Seahawks and Cardinals. We'll talk about both next.
This is West Coast Training Camp.
Welcome back. Since about 2011, the Seattle Seahawks have had a defensive backfield so good it had its own nickname, Legion of Boom. Notice I said had. As A.J. McCord tells us, Seattle's outlook for this season is different than in years past.
It has been an offseason of change for the Seattle Seahawks. Gone is almost every player who used to make up one of the most feared defenses in the league. Lucky for Seattle, one constant has been franchise quarterback Russell Wilson. Despite all the changes, Russell Wilson believes this year's squad has what it takes to play all the way into January.
And I think now we have such a great stable of guys that are flashy, can catch, can pass protect, can do it all. And they're really, really smart, and the best part is they're really young, and they know they're going to have a great careers coming up, and I think they're working for that, and that's the great thing for us.
Since Wilson earned the starting job as a rookie following camp in 2012, the Hawks have never had a losing record, failing to make the playoffs just once last season. So just how important is he? The Seahawks scored 38 offensive touchdowns in 2017. Wilson threw or ran for 37 of them. But a one-dimensional offense is not a good thing in the NFL. That's why there's a renewed emphasis on the running game heading into this season.
We're a little different than we've been. We have a little more spread in the things that we're trying to do with the running game in particular, which is nothing, this isn't rocket science, but it is giving us a chance to just work our guys in some different principles and some man-blocking schemes and all of that. And our guys have really taken to it, but we want to run the football here. We know that that's been crucial to our success.
Seattle predicted by many to finish below 500 for the first time since 2011. But with the likes of Wilson, wide receivers Doug Baldwin and Brandon Marshall, and a rebuilt line on offense, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, and then wildcard rookie sensation Shaquem Griffin on defense, the Hawks are capable of flipping the script.
Right now, we all sticking together. Right now, we all got a love for each other. We all getting to know each other. Right now, we're just looking for a common goal, and we're just trying to get back to the Super Bowl and win. Everybody competing and working hard, and we're pushing each other, trying to make each other great.
Reporting from Seahawks camp, I'm AJ McCord.
Thanks, AJ. The Seahawks open the season in Denver on September 9th. We know they'll be in London in mid-October. Before that, they'll be in Arizona on September 30th. They have a 5-game unbeaten streak in Glendale. Will that turn into 6? That's also up to the Cardinals. John Treach reports.
The 2018 Arizona Cardinals are on a collision course with change. New coach, new quarterbacks, new vibe, all trying to wash away the old feeling of disappointment in the desert. The Valley of the Sun is still the valley with stars. One will shine his way to the Hall of Fame in Larry Fitzgerald. Another brings darkness to passing games in Patrick Peterson. They've got a dream running back in David Johnson and a quarterback's nightmare in Chandler Jones. But for all the familiar faces, no franchise in the NFL has received more of a facelift to its identity.
We call it our DNA, the way that we're going to play, what kind of guys we want to be on the field, trying to be physical, trying to be dominant.
The banner years of Kurt Warner are in the past. The Canton Enshrined QB watches the quarterback competition with the rest of us. This offseason, the Cardinals signed free agents Sam Bradford and Mike Glennon. The two signal callers have made a lot of millions in memories, but traveled a lot of miles without much winning.
Right, yeah, we're all learning together, so I think that's kind of you can look at it as an advantage.
The future is 21-year-old first-round pick out of UCLA, Josh Rosen.
All of them throw the ball pretty smooth. I feel like Josh got a little bit more velocity than all the other guys.
He's got plenty of arm, but even those fighting for playing time can see that he has promise well beyond his years.
You can tell he's a very, bright, intelligent, 21-year-old.
In 2017, the Cardinals were riding the fence of mediocrity at 8-8. The sense around camp is they are one injury away from irrelevancy and one big playmaker from prominence.
We come out there and we're playing for the guy that's next to us, and we really mean it and we're committed to what we're doing. I think we could take off and, reach that ultimate goal.
The charm of the desert is in its diehards. Arizona has sold out every game in University of Phoenix Stadium. They've successfully built a palace. Now can the Cardinals rebuild a contender in 2018? Reporting from Glendale, John Treach.
Thanks, John. The Cardinals open their season at home against the Washington Redskins. They don't leave the Pacific time zone until week 6 when they go to Minnesota, and they end the regular season in a familiar place, Seattle. We'll be right back.
This is West Coast Training Camp.
As the season begins, all eyes are on the ultimate prize. It'll be decided on Sunday, February 3rd, Super Bowl 53. And of course, we're back to using the Roman numerals. It was just that one exception, Super Bowl 50. This one is in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It'll be the 3rd Super Bowl played in Atlanta. The others were Super Bowl 28 in 1994 and Super Bowl 34 in 2000. That's going to do it for us here at West Coast Training Camp. We covered a lot on this show. From Mark, Chris, Nick, Van, Kim, Nick again, AJ, and John, I'm Andrew Martin. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the upcoming season.